Hey everybody, it's Thursday.
And welcome to this week's edition of The Night Bite.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily. And it has been, all kinds of crazy weather. Depending on where you're at in the state, things are looking very different right now. One of the things that, we weren't here last week and the week before that, were we still talking about ice being in places?
Yeah.
And that's a crazy thought because since then things have changed, like I said, so drastically. And I don't know if I can come up with anywhere that still has ice at this point. So fishable or not, I think everything is really melted. And I think that's really what's partially contributing to, like we said, all these crazy conditions, because there are places that are super flooded the last week, still even now. And I think a lot of those things are affecting, I guess, the conditions and how people are fishing. And even for us, that's affected us a lot because we have not, we've been doing maple syrup. We did also have a huge snowbank that was still blocking our garage. Those are crazy to think. But like we said, those are all things that are kind of sorted themselves out. And I think we are going to be hitting the water this coming weekend.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
I have heard that there are storms coming still. So tomorrow's only Friday. And I've heard that there's going to be rain then and potentially on Saturday. But I haven't really looked. I haven't looked that close, and so maybe it's changed since I've looked, right? But we are really looking forward to, I guess, getting out. I'm hoping to not have to wear my full rain gear, but we'll see how all of that looks. And it is that time of year where we are interested in where are you at and how is the fishing, and if you know water temperature or fishing report or anything like that, because there are things just changing across the state, and we love to see those trends as they go. So with that being said, I know that our guest tonight has been on the water and has all kinds of cool things to talk about, so we're going to bring him in right away. And Derek, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think that this is our first time meeting you here this evening, so that is always so great. But you're kind of even local to our area, so that is such a fun connection. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am originally from the Appleton, Fox Valley area. I now live in Stevens Point, Mosney, Wausau area. I kind of run a couple different businesses. I do a little general contracting, just some handyman work. I run a guide business. I've been doing that for about 5 years now. And then me and the wife just bought the DEKit of Wisconsin franchise. We probably finalized it 3 weeks ago. So we're on top of buying a new property. Our heads have been spinning the last couple of weeks. It's just been kind of crazy. So
that is kind of crazy. Can you tell us a little bit about DEKit? Give us a little bit of a sneak preview into that.
Yeah, DEKit is a marine flooring company. So it's not just limited to marine applications, though. It's a closed cell non-skid marine flooring. People have probably seen it in a lot of the new big walleye boats nowadays. Guys are putting it in pontoons, they're putting it in airboats, people are putting it in ice shacks. It's a foam flooring, super easy to clean. You can pressure wash it. Like I said, that closed cell characteristics of it, you can pressure wash it and it makes it super easy to clean. If you don't take care of it, I mean, it will stain if you don't take care of it, but I mean, it's pretty easy to take care of. A little brush, soap and water, pressure washer, and yeah, so I'm pretty excited to get this rolling. I got a bunch of boats in the pipeline to get rolling. I got to head down to South Carolina. That's where the headquarters is, in South Carolina. So I got to head down there May 4th, do some training, talk to the guys, learn some things, and roughly May 11th, I'll be ready to start scanning boats and get this rolling. So
That's super cool. And you are, I was going to say our favorite kind of person to talk to. That's what I was going to say, is because here's why. When you are an angler, and you certainly are that, and we'll get to that. I know we're going to talk fishing here. But when you are, a fisherman, you're spending the hours on the water, you're out there, you're putting in the time for fish. And then there's a product, like in this case, you have this company, and that's so cool. So is this something that you used before you had the business? Is this, because I love companies for fishermen by fishermen?
Yeah, so I have not used DEKit. I actually have in my boat right now. I got one of the competitors, Aqua Traction, in my boat. When I bought my boat 3 years ago, Aqua Traction was in there. Um, yeah, I love the stuff. I mean, being on the water for 8 to 12 hours a day, standing on that foam flooring compared to a carpet or just a solid aluminum vinyl floor, it makes a difference. Absolutely. So, and then we get a bunch of fish in the boat spawning, I mean, there's just so much. It's just easy to wash it down, pressure wash it when you get home. It dries super easy. It's not absorbent, so it dries super easy. Um, so yeah, I have not used the DEKit product, but I've used something very similar to it, an EVA closed cell non-skid flooring. That's, pretty much the, same stuff, a little bit different. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and exactly like you're saying, it can be a messy time of the year. And going into the summer,
yeah.
you always hear people, using worms, and whether that's a bobber or a different kind of application, all of that dirt, or it doesn't matter what they're packing in the worms, it's always messy. And so, when you think of, like you mentioned, traditional carpet, might be a little bit comfortable, but you can get your hooks stuck in it. The worms, the fish, it's all kind of a mess. When you have, like the vinyl flooring, that's what we have, and we do really like it because it's cleanable. It's kind of a step in that right direction. But I have to say, it gets a little bit warm to stand on.
It
And by
is.
warm, I mean like in summer it's hot, like it's really hot to stand
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
And so when you have something that offers the benefits of, like, it's just as cleanable, just as user friendly, your hooks are not getting stuck, but it's more comfortable to stand on, perhaps like a little bit cooler, all of these things, you start to think about, like, oh, do I really need, like, to upgrade my boat for comfort? But it is really so much more than that.
Yeah.
And plus it looks cool.
It does. There's so many different designs. I mean, the designs are endless. If someone thinks of a design, a picture they want to put inside, that we can CNC that into the fabric or into into the foam, we can cut any picture into it. So, yeah, it's fully customizable. I think there's 8 patterns you can pick, whether that's contours or fish scales, or there's a bunch of different patterns you can do, and then a ton of color options you can do. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. It just adds a little bit to your boat, makes it a little unique. So, and you were talking
Well,
about the carpet getting hot. So yeah, this stuff with that closed cell, it doesn't get hot. I mean, you can stand on this in very, very hot days, and it's it's pretty tolerable. It doesn't get hot. It just dissipates the heat. Um, so that's a big thing, because I mean, I have still carpet on my deck, and the deck compared to the tub or the cockpit, I call it, it's a huge difference in the middle of summer. I mean, it's a big difference. So
yeah. Well, and this is the time of year where I know everybody is, like, maybe just gotten their boat out or about to get their boat out. And it's always that moment of, like, oh my gosh, how does it look? Is it a mess? And it's always nice when you have a situation, a way that you can kind of give a little bit of love back to your boat, because you use it, just run it in the ground all summer, at least as we do, right? We're
yeah,
constantly bringing the boat out there, right? And so when you can give it a little bit of love back, and I think honestly, this rejuvenates it a little bit.
it's cool stuff. I'm excited to tear out the stuff I got in now, and I said, get this company rolling. We're a little behind schedule. We were hoping to have this deal done at the end of winter, so that when spring came, we were ready, but just life happens and things, we just weren't quite ready. And we bought a new property, and that got backed up a couple weeks, closing got backed up. So everything just kind of snowballed. But hey, when we're ready for it. As soon as I get down to corporate here in a couple weeks, when I get back, we're going to be, I mean, nose down, and we're going to just grind. And I'm excited to blow this name up. Not many people know the DEKit name. There's a lot of people that know about Aqua Traction, but I'm pretty excited to blow this name up in the Midwest. And yeah, pretty cool.
So you were mentioning that you still have a separate flooring option for the bow of your boat versus what you called the cockpit. So when you're pricing this out, like if somebody's wondering how much it's costing, are you doing that by square foot, or is
Yep.
it per model of boat, or how do you guys do that?
Yeah, so we go by square foot. It's all per square foot of coverage. How much coverage do you want? And that, we'll get you a price on. That's what I'm telling anybody reaches out for a quote. If they can give me the rough square footage of what they want covered, I can get you pretty good ballpark of what it's going to cost you. Um, I am working on. I know a lot of these big walleye guys, these pros, NWT pros. You see their boats and they're completely decked out. The front's decked out. The back is. The lids. I'm in works with a couple fab companies right now in the central Wisconsin area to get new lids made if customers want a full makeover of their boat. Once you take that carpet off those lids, you can imagine you're going to have a half inch gap between all those lids. And then you're going to have the rough edges once you take that carpet that's wrapped around those edges. So it doesn't look the greatest. A lot of those guys that are doing the full coverage, they're completely getting rid of those lids and getting all new, aluminum lids made. So and then that material Aquatraction or DEKit can lay on there and it just covers up it covers up everything a lot nicer, and it closes up them gaps from where that carpet was wrapped around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's awesome. That would make it
yeah,
look really
it's a
clean.
little bit. I mean, that's a pretty big, upgrade and pretty big investment. It's definitely
Mhm.
a lot more to do that. But hey, people want it done. I have some fab companies ready and willing to make me some lids. So yeah, if anybody wants that, we're ready to roll with that too. We can get some dimensions and send those over to the fab shop here, and they'll be able to cut and bend some lids for us, and we'll be able to put those on and get it completely decked out. So
Sweet.
So one of the nice things that I'm hearing is, well, at least I guess I'll throw myself under the bus if it is that. But like, I think this is a hard thing to, dare I say, purchase, to have all new floors, all of this. It's a whole new situation. It's not something that people do each year, and there isn't like advice out on the internet of like the best way to go about this. But what you're describing is exactly perfect, right? So this is a situation where somebody can call you and they can say, here's my situation, or here's my boat, or here's what I would like to do. And then you would be able to potentially make recommendations about, like here's the answer to your question, or here's what I would do, or here's an option you didn't think of. And that is always so helpful, because I feel like that this is just such kind of new territory for so many people.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've already had a lot. I mean, the amount of people that have reached out and they're trying to um they're trying to put what upgrades they should do first or whatever, what's important to them first, and they're just trying to get prices. And I mean, it's a luxury product. I mean, it's not the cheapest product out there. It's a luxury product, but it all goes by square footage, so you don't need to do the whole boat. You know what I mean? You can just do the cockpit, and it's not bad.
So you're making a pretty good point. You can probably do boats in sections. How does the like you mentioned having a lot of colors. So like if let's say we did the main part of our boat one year, and then a couple years down the road we did like the bow deck separately. Like would the colors match still? Like does it fade super bad,
I
or
mean, it's non-fading material, but if you leave it out, I'll be real honest, you leave it out in the sun all the
Mhm.
time, you don't have it covered. My Aquatraction that I have I don't want to keep bringing up Aquatraction, but that's what I have in my bowl right now because I just haven't torn it out. I didn't have a garage. I didn't take care of it the greatest. It stayed outside all the time in the sun. It faded compared to when I had it 3 years ago. When I first
Mhm.
put it in 3, 4 years ago, it absolutely faded. But I mean, it's not magic. Anybody that tells you that this product is magic, it's not magic. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You got to take care of it. You got to scrub it down, clean it. Don't always have it. If you leave it out in the sun all the time, year after year after year, I would I would guess that the colors are not going to match if you do it 3 years down the road. But if you take care of it, you put it in the garage, you have a cover on it, absolutely. The covers, the colors will match and it'll be just fine.
Awesome.
And then I do always have to ask is because, this is like kind of foam, and not everyone is super familiar with this. So let's say it rains or you're bringing in a ton of fish. We hear foam. Is it slippery?
Yeah, non-skid. It's not. It actually, I don't know what makes it non-skid. But I mean, you can rub your foot on it, yeah, and you're not going to just slip out. It's pretty sticky, I guess. Um, it's not, yeah, foam it's definitely not a slippery material. So
Mhm.
especially, yeah, when you're dealing with slime, fish slime, I agree. You would think, is it going to be slippery? But no, I don't know what makes that component non-slippery, but it's got a pretty good stick to it. So
Mhm. And so if people are at home and they're looking to follow along, I should have asked this ahead of time. Do you have a website that is set up and ready to go that people can start checking out?
yeah, so I do have DEKit of Wisconsin Facebook page. I have all my contact information on there. Or if you want to look at all the color options, the pattern options, you can go on actually just DEKit.com, the headquarters website, and that has all the options on it that we offer.
That's awesome. And I think actually I see Josh on our other screen here. He's pulling it up and I think he's going to take that link and post it into the comments section. So in case people are watching and they do want to check this out, there's some really nice examples of boats that I guess may not even be freshwater boats. Some might be saltwater, but I think just the versatility of no matter what kind of boat that you have, there's something that's going to fit it. There's an option. So I guess Josh was kind of talking about this before, but is this a situation where you just have to have the right boat to fit the stock, or you just measure it, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so I have a 3D scanner. I can measure, we can make anything with this stuff. We can scan anything. I can make I can make mouse pads, I can make tabletops, I can make desktops, I can put this on the back of your tailgate. I can scan the inside of your ice shack and put it on your ice shack. Those modular deer blinds, the big
Hmm.
plastic deer blinds. I could 3D scan that and we could put it on the inside of that. Paddle boards, kayaks, golf carts. Like I said, it's endless. The possibilities are endless. If a customer comes up with an idea and I can scan it and we can get it to stick to adhere to it, we can make it happen. I mean, I just had a buddy reach out. He wants to do his golf cart. He brings his golf cart to a campground and it has a tailgate on it. He said his kids sit on that tailgate. So he wants to put that on his tailgate. So I got to measure that here soon. Um, so I'll go there with this. It's a portable scanner. I don't know. It's about yay big, and it comes with this it's almost like a pen attached to a wire, and you lay a bunch of points down, and what that does, it gets all collected into the 3D program. You put that into a CAD, that file gets sent to a CAD program. You design it or whatever. We send that file to corporate. They have designers there. They design it all. They'll design it and work with the customers to whatever design you guys want. The material gets cut in South Carolina, and then they ship me back the material and I install it. So it's an exact fit of whatever we scan. It's an exact fit. And then it has a 3M backing on it. We add like an accelerator to it, like a primer to it to make it really stick better and roll it on, apply some pressure and it's good to go.
And we have Zach Humphreys here, first of all, and he said hello. So shout out to Zach. But he's asking if there's an application for kayaks.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can scan if there's flat surfaces in your kayak, we can absolutely scan it. Um, and with this mobile scanner, I can go to the customer's house. I can go to the customer's, I got some salmon boats lined up actually in Port Washington where I'm going to be driving down to Port Washington, scanning their salmon boats right on the water. And then, usually turnaround from scan to install, I'm telling people roughly 3 weeks. It can be 10 days, up to it can be as soon as 10 days, it could be a month. we put that on the customer saying, when you're ready to purchase DEKit, we need you to be ready. We need you to be responsive when we send you a design. We need you to approve it right away. And we need those transactions to really go back and forth really quick. So like I said, they can cut it in South Carolina, get it back to me, and I can install it. But if I email someone and they're not getting back to me and they haven't approved it yet, you can see how things just get backed up a little bit. And it may end up being 3 weeks, 4 weeks before we actually get it, that product into your boat. So, or
But
whatever it may be.
yeah, but truly a testament to the fact that it is a custom product, because it does really depend
100%
on you
custom. Yeah.
as the consumer. So that's really neat. I'm also loving here that there are different accessories that people can add in. So I'm seeing at least like a bump board. I'm seeing maybe some
Yep.
fancy designs. Tell us more about this.
Yeah. So there's no extra charge for, you can get whatever color you want, you can get whatever pattern you want design. But if you want to add like a bump board, or any logo, if you send us a file, we can CNC that router that into the foam material, whatever it is. If it's your crappie junction file, we can put that right in your boat. And there you get up to three for a surcharge. You get up to 3 pictures or the same file for that one surcharge. And then anything more than that, if you want another file, then it's another surcharge. That's the only thing we charge more for. Unlike other competitors, they charge for this pattern, they charge for this color. We don't charge any extra for different colors. We don't charge any extra for our patterns. The only thing we charge extra for is if you want some kind of picture, logo, a walleye, a salmon, a deer, whatever it may be, we can router that into that product. So
Oh my gosh, that's actually awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
The
it's pretty cool
opportunities are
stuff. I'm
endless.
pretty excited to get into my boat and start. I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet, but I don't know what kind of logo I'm going to put in it, but I'm pretty excited for it. The one thing I'll tell you right now, if you get a DEKit, the DEKit logo, that's free. If anybody wants the DEKit logo into their product, that's free. We don't charge anything for that. So it's above and beyond if you want some other kind of file or logo in your product, then that's extra.
That's cool though. And I'm looking at the website on our other screen here. That's what I keep glancing over at. And some really nice clean cuts in that foam, just something that really does look very classy. So you'd mentioned earlier that it's kind of a premium product, but it's something that also looks premium, right? It's not just something that's like expensive that you don't get to see, like the internal workings of your motor. Who knows, when you do maintenance, you don't even get to see that stuff.
Yeah.
But this is something that's makes a big impact. And so that's a pretty cool thing.
Yep. And we do have a couple different thicknesses. If people want, there's like a 6 mm, it goes by millimeter, 6 mm, I think a 13 mm. I'm still learning all of that yet. And that's part of me going down to corporate here in a couple of weeks, just learning all of the products, learning the different thicknesses. I don't know if I got to check on this. If we offer like a foam padding underneath, we might even offer a padding underneath on top of underneath that our actual DEKit to make it even more, cushioned. I'm not exactly sure if we offer that yet or not.
But so many awesome options and opportunities. So people can definitely check out that website. They can definitely, kind of sit and imagine and then call out to you and see what could be possible. And you'll be able to help them through all that. So that's really exciting because I know this time of year, people are looking towards open water and dragging the boats out.
Yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to reach out, I gotta actually set like a message on my phone. It's crazy amount of people that have reached out already, and I have to continue to say I need a rough square footage. So just got to make an auto reply on there. So that's a big thing I need. I need a square footage of what you guys want covered, and then I can give you a rough, just a rough ballpark, and we go from there. So
that's awesome.
Sweet.
And we certainly don't have to be done talking about that, but I know before the show we also got to talking a little bit about open water, and you've been on open water quite a few times already this year. How's that been going for you?
Fishing's been good. Fishing's been good. It's been bad. It's been good. It's been bad. Mother Nature's been just so bipolar. Right away before the snowstorm, the Fox River. I'm originally from that Neenah, that Appleton area, so I grew up on the Fox River, and it was pretty good for 2 weeks there before that 12, what did we have, 20 some inches of snow or whatever the heck we had. And then it got super dirty, and it was a grind there for a while. The fish were still biting. I did fish that swamp donkey tournament. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. We did very, very bad on that. We only had one fish, so it is what it is. Things happen. But then I kind of made my way up to O'Connell for a couple weeks there. O'Connell's big, right? There's so much water to cover, and pre-spawn, it's like, where are those fish? You got to kind of find them and spend a lot of time. And I think I don't even know how many times I went up there, and it was probably 50-50. I did good and I did bad. But the last time we went last week, we did very, very well. It was all post spawn. And we did very, very good just out of the breakwater there to the south. So it was awesome. So, and now actually I just got back from Lake Winnebago. I signed up for my first AIM series. I have signed up for the AIM series. So we have an AIM tournament out of Winnebago this Sunday. So I've spent the last couple of days trying to break down Winnebago and find those finicky fish out there. And it's been actually going pretty good. Yeah, I didn't have a walleye in the boat until 1 o'clock this afternoon, but the afternoon went very good for me. So that's tournament fishing. I mean, you got to stay focused. You can have a really, really bad morning, but that bite can flip like that, and you can put 5 on the card in a matter of an hour in the afternoon, and it can make your day. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you were mentioning like the Green Bay area, and I've had actually a few opportunities to drive over that, what is it, the 172 bridge or whatever. And, when you drive over, that's always the place that you can really see what everyone calls bumper boats. Like you look to the left, you look to the right, and usually both ways is like boats everywhere. Yeah. And bumper to bumper. And what's amazing is both times that I've driven through, crickets. And it has been, just a handful of boats, just like one or two. And I know we did walk down by the dam a little bit, and there was quite a few shore anglers. Like I wouldn't say that was too much less than normal. But one of the things that I did notice, and you mentioned this too, is the color of the water, the chocolate milkness of it. Like it was so dark, so brown. And up there in Green Bay, it did look full, like a lot of water, but it just really looked like mud. And that is a tough condition to fish in.
It is. It's very tough. So every year we deal with that, right? But so we get a bunch of rain in the spring. It rains and it flushes out. What we had this year was we got all that snow. So that snow didn't melt instantly. So it just kept melting and it kept melting and it kept melting and it kept dirtying up that water instead of just dirtying it up and it flushing out over a week. It just kept melting over a week span and it just kept dirtying the water up. So it wasn't like a rain, it flushes out in 48 hours and then we're good to go again. That dirty water lasted for it's still dirty now. I mean, now that we had this flooding, it's bad. I mean, it was this water clarity. This year was like we had the flow that you always want flow on the Fox River. Flow is very important to triggering those fish, to drawing those fish up into the river. We had the flow this year, but water clarity was just crap this year. It was bad, but we still got some fish. Fishing was good for a little bit. I actually took out we had a high school tournament there. Was it 2 weeks ago? Eyes on the Fox. So I think we had 21 high school teams, and that was another where our morning we were right in the right area in the morning, but we were literally 30 yards from where I wanted to be. 2 guys beat us up there by like 30 seconds. So we were off a little bit on the sand instead of in the rocks. And a half hour into it, everybody's catching fish but us for 2 hours, and we're just like. So we made an adjustment in the afternoon and we got on some rocks that I wanted to get on, and we ended up taking 4th place. So the morning was really, really bad, but the afternoon, one of our high school, Ian, he was a high schooler that I had with, that kid just put on a clinic with some blade baits, and we had some big fish, some big 26s, some 25s. He did a heck of a job, and it was raining all day. Them 2 kids I give them credit because they grinded all day in that rain, and I'm sitting in a full tournament suit, tournament grade rain suit, and these kids, either one of them had rain pants. The one had just like a Blackfish rain jacket, which it's waterproof to a point,
Mhm.
but yeah, and they grinded. They didn't complain one bit, and yeah, we squeaked out a fourth place, so it was pretty awesome. And it actually within the last 2 hours, we lost three 25-inch fish that we get one of those fish in the bowl, we take second place. I don't think we'd have bumped up the first, but we'd have took second place. So I was pretty
Wow.
proud of those kids. They did an awesome job.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
awesome.
that's so exciting. And when you're talking about tournaments and adjusting, you had also mentioned that the AIM tournament was moved down to Oshkosh. Is that the one that was supposed to be a little bit upriver and then they decided
Yep.
that wasn't going to work out?
Yeah, that was supposed to be out of Winneconne, and with the water that was coming out of Fremont, coming through Poygan, it was a great call. Denny made an absolute. It was a good call. I mean, the docks are flooded. I went over the Wolf River today coming home, and it is just crazy over there. I've experienced the flooding before, but this is pretty wild what we got going on right now. And the current's fast. I agree. It was a great call on his part to keep us safe, keep us out of the rivers, just and the slow no wake. I mean, we would have had to. It'd have been the whole. And actually, even the Winnebago system, the whole Winnebago County, Winnebago waterways right now are slow no wake. You can go once you're 500 foot away from a permanent structure, you can you can open it up, but anywhere on Lake Winnebago right now, if you're close to shore within 500 feet of a permanent structure, you have to be slow and awake right now, not
Mhm.
just in the river.
Mhm.
It's interesting that you bring that up because as an angler, we love the wolf system. We used to fish down there all the time. And so when it's just us going out on the weekend, it's like, oh, okay, that's crazy. You abide by the rules. But when you're in a tournament, that is kind of a whole different factor, right? Because
Oh
normally
yeah,
you're used to like buzzing off to places or just getting where you're going. And when you have to really, factor that time to putz around and get through that
absolutely.
system, that's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the only unfortunate thing about this now is it puts everybody on Winnebago. You can go to the train bridge and the mouth of the river there in Oshkosh, and then that's it. So everybody now is on Winnebago. So if it was open to the whole system, there would be people up in Shiocton, there would be people in Winneconne, there would be people in Poygan. It would spread everybody out. Now you better hope you get a good boat draw during the rules meeting coming up here, because everybody's going to be on Winnebago. So that's going to be tough. You may think you got a good spot until you don't when you get there and someone else is there.
So you've mentioned quite a bit about your tournament angling. You also had said something about doing a little guiding. You want to talk
Yep.
about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I run a guide business out of the central Wisconsin area, mainly the Wisconsin River from Wausau to Stevens Point. Um, it's just part time. I don't want it to be full time. I got this
Mhm.
DEKit thing going on, but yeah, we do a lot of Wisconsin River. I grew up on a lake system. So just learning this the last 7, 8 years, I am such a fan of the Wisconsin River. And I don't think people give it credit. Like everybody's like, oh, there's a bunch of dinks there, a bunch of small fish, a bunch of small fish. We're pretty spoiled what we got in central Wisconsin. People don't give it credit. If you get off to where you need to be pitching it. I love pitching timber, shallow timber with jigging a minnow. You got to be in there though. I tell people we're not losing jigs. We're not in the right spots. I mean, and I use invasion jigs. I think they're out of Mercer, and then Jack's jigs. He's out of I think Indiana now. Both weedless jigs. I have those tied up all the time in the river. I'm always pitching. I mean, I'm pitching timber all the time. You'll never find me sitting in those community holes and those deep holes. I call those the nurseries. That's where you're going to find your 12-inch fish, your 13-inch walleyes, the dinks that everybody calls them. You got to get off in that sub 6 foot of water, sub 7 foot, pitching that timber. That's where the fish you want are at. So it's a
Well,
pretty fun little side gig that I got. Like I said, I'm never going to turn it into full time. I don't want it to be full time, but if someone reaches out and they don't have a boat and they want to get out and learn a little bit, I'm absolutely willing to take them out and teach them teach them this area and teach them what the river's all about. So, and just because then that's one thing I like to make it clear because I don't know what it is that once you become a guide, people just think you think you're better than everybody, or you think you know more than everybody, or I'm a better fisherman than everybody. That's not what that means. It just means I love fishing that much that if I'm going to be on the water, I might as well make some money off of it. And yeah, do I know a little, certain things that some people don't? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else, and I even get some buddies now, they'll call, text me, hey, you want to take me out fishing? Do I got to pay you? And it's like, no, you don't have to pay. You're my buddy. You don't have to pay me to go fishing. Like, just because I'm a guide, it doesn't mean I charge all my friends to go fishing. I don't know what that is with, it just seems you become a guide and it's like everybody thinks you're going to charge them, you're to go fishing with them. And it's like, kind of drives me nuts. So that's one thing. I've been doing it 5-6 years now. And yeah, I'm never going to be, I don't want it full time. I don't want it at all. I'm not interested
Okay,
in
so
it.
but what I'm hearing though is the key is that when we call you, we have to say this is a guide trip or this is a friend trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Draw
Yep.
the line, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. We'll go to those spots versus those spots.
Yeah. A spot, B spot, C spot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a fun little gig. I like it. I like getting kids out. Man, I love, that's one thing, there's people that don't have boats with kids, and that's what I really like the guiding for, it's not that, it's not that I'm better than anybody else. It's just, I like getting people out that don't have the ability to get out on the water and, let's go out and I'll show you some things. So
Well, and it always helps when you have a nice, comfortable boat that's filled with
absolutely.
DEKit material. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I really think that having somebody, if you're not familiar with river fishing, which really the only way to become familiar, like intimately familiar with river fishing, is to have a boat. I did a lot of shore fishing, and just the amount of stuff that you learn being in the river versus on the river, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's two different animals, and so
Oh, yeah.
having a guide not only affords you that information, that it takes a lot longer than a lake to learn, because it's
Absolutely.
constant. It changes from day to day, where
Oh,
lakes
yeah.
are a little
By the
bit more
minute
stable,
sometimes.
right? And so I really think having the guide knowledge is important, but also a safety factor, because somebody that fishes that area, that stretch of river, will know like a lot more where some of the semi-permanent deadheads are. Some areas where you never know where there's like a bedrock shelf or something that's 6 inches under the water, and then it just drops off to 8 feet right out,
you
5 feet
here,
away.
You're good. You stay over here, you're not good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just stuff you don't have to really think about too much when you're in a lake, because the lake stuff doesn't move around as much. So it's just really,
things are
I think that's
changing
awesome.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing with rivers are, again, I grew up fishing the lakes and it's so different. Angles are such a key component when it comes to river fishing. Angles and current, and I mean current changes by the minute some days, and yeah, it is. It's such a different ball game. And learning, we're learning where that wood is. That there's a couple spots that I now know. I mean, you got to stay trimmed up, and you have a very skinny path to get to where you got to go. And I've learned it over the years. And my prop, you can probably look at my prop, and my stainless prop is not 100% clean anymore. Let's just put it that way. Either is my skeg.
Yep.
But that's river fishing for you. There's stuff moving all the time, so you just got to pay attention all the time.
But what an awesome opportunity. You were talking about fishing some of that shallow brush. And, it is an awesome multi species experience. So, especially when we're talking
Yeah.
about a guided
Yeah.
trip, or if you're traveling from afar or looking for something unique, that is going to be one of those opportunities because you get that tug on the line and it could be one of anything.
Yeah, could be in.
Oh, that's the thing with the Wisconsin River, and that's exactly it. You never know what's in that timber. And now with live scope, you can kind of see the size, but still, you don't know it's going to be a catfish, going to be a muskie, going to be a northern. I mean, and there's crappies in there. That's what I really love about the Wisconsin River, the multi-species aspect of it. It's unbelievable. It is. I mean, I love. Don't get me wrong. I love Green Bay, fishing Green Bay, those huge walleyes. But the Wisconsin River pitching that timber with a 16th or 8th ounce timber jig, that is that's pretty awesome stuff.
That's so cool.
And so, for people who might still be just getting their boat out for the year, maybe looking to get on their first bite, do you have any tips, whether they're in maybe the river system or perhaps going to a lake? Where do they start for the year?
Well, you're always so in the spring, you're looking for the warmest water, right? That's fish are gonna the bait fish are gonna attract to the warmest water. So paying attention, I know, and if you don't have electronics on your boat, I know that's hard to, but you're looking for slack water areas in the spring because the river's going to be moving, so you're looking for those eddies. Those fish will stack up in those eddies pretty good in the spring. That is a big. You find slack water usually in the spring. There'll be some fish in there getting out of the current, especially walleyes
Mhm.
getting out of the current. I'm a big walleye fisherman. I like it all, but I specialize in wall. I mean, I grew up. My dad was a walleye guide. He was a walleye, tournament angler. I'm just a diehard walleye guy at heart, but the last handful of years, I've been dipping into everything, which you gotta when you're on the river. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, looking for that structure early in the spring. You're looking for that structure that you can see on the shoreline, 'cause that's going to be your warmest. If you think of trees sticking out of the water, that sun's going to hit down on those trees and it's going to heat that water up. It's going to hold heat.
Mhm.
That's going to bring those bait fish in there, minnows. That's where the fish are going to be. So once the water starts getting a little warmer, now you're looking for that structure that's off the shore that you can't see. You know what I mean? That's under the
Mhm.
water. That's the stuff you're looking for. But right away, if you're looking to get out right now, especially now after the spawn. I mean, pretty much the spawn is done. We're looking at post spawn now pretty much everywhere. These fish are now this week, they're really starting to now get off into that timber and start feeding pretty heavy.
Mhm.
Timber's where
That
it's at.
is,
That timber bite, man. And again, I tell people you're gonna lose jigs, even those weedless jigs. We're gonna lose them. Don't get me wrong, but you need to be in there to get the right fish.
Mhm.
It's pretty awesome.
because, yeah, that is for sure. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Well, and I know that so many people are so eager to be getting out there. Conditions maybe are turning a little bit towards our favor. So
Yeah,
I
we're
am
getting
looking,
there.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to that for sure. And we cannot wait to hear how all of your tournaments go. So is that something that you post a lot about?
We'll start this year. This is actually, the last 4 or 5 years, I've fished a lot of the small bar tournaments, real small tournaments here and there. But this will be my first big series, the AIM series. This is my first year getting into that, so I'm pretty excited. So I'll definitely post about it. I take pictures during pre-fish, so I'll post, probably the day before the tournament or whatever. Maybe tomorrow, Friday, I'll post on how pre-fishing went. Just kind of give you a generic rundown of how the week went. I fished Tuesday, Wednesday, third. I fished today, and then tomorrow I actually got to fish the Wisconsin River here because I got a local tournament here on Saturday, and then Sunday I'll be on the Winnebago system. So yeah, I'll start posting about those big tournaments now on just on my regular, Facebook page. So
Yeah. And
Nice.
I was going to say, if people are looking to follow along, is Facebook the platform that you post on, and how do people find you?
yeah, Facebook. I do have Instagram, Midwest Sportsman, and then I think my post automatically pull or they probably link right to that. I think. Um, but Facebook is what I don't have TikTok or any of that stuff, so I probably should start getting into that stuff a little more, but I'm kind of generic when it comes to social media. I do a little Facebook and that's about it.
And if people are still looking for a guided trip coming up this year, do you have open water dates available?
Absolutely. Yeah, reach out midday, midweek stuff. On my weekends this month was pretty booked up. I had to reschedule a lot of stuff because of that water. We had a lot of high school kids um that scheduled on the weekends and we had to reschedule those. It wasn't ideal conditions. I mean, I'm not looking to take anybody out when the water's 6 foot high and ripping like it was. It's just one, it's a safety issue. And I'm not looking to, we got to be safe when we're out there. It's not always about catching fish. Like, right, we got to catch, I'd like to catch fish, but number one, it's safe. And if it's not going to be safe, then we're not doing it. So, but yeah, I got plenty of dates available. Like I said, my guiding is not going to be a full-time thing ever. It's here and there, a couple times, 1 or 2 times a week, the weekends, and I'm really hoping to get this DEKit thing rolling, and that'll take most of my time. So,
Well, and that was the exact other thing I was going to ask about. So if people are interested in DEKit or how to outfit their boat or where to start, certainly we have the website posted in the comments, or they can reach out to you. And I know I'm looking forward to hearing more about how all of that goes, because we just wish you the best. And that is such a cool thing to have local here.
Mm-hmm.
heck yeah, yeah, we're really excited about it. It's kind of a long. We started this journey probably 3-4 years ago, looking into buying another foam flooring company, and it just didn't work at the time. Life happens, and we just weren't quite ready yet. And then this opportunity came, say about a year or so ago, and it just didn't. We weren't quite ready yet, and then all of a sudden, I ended up meeting Cody Solberg at the Oshkosh Ice Show. I was sitting in, I was working the PC Fun booth there.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went up to Cody. I said, "Hey, is DEKit still available for sale?" And he's like, "Absolutely." So then that's when it really got rolling. And yeah, like I said, we just finalized the deal about 3 weeks ago, and I'm ready. I'm really excited to blow this name up.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, we look forward to speaking with you next time, because we know that there's going to be lots of cool developments. And certainly we'll be interested in all of your adventures in the water. But we're going to follow you in the meantime, because you got all kinds of cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to be here with us this evening and chat about all this with us.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. First time doing this. But yeah, if you guys ever want me back and talk about how, DEKit's going, how the guide business is going, I'd love to be back.
Well,
Sweet.
that sounds awesome. And to the people at home, I know they're going to be excited to hear from you again, but we hope that everybody has a really great start to their open water season, or maybe you have the boat out and hopefully it's been going great already. But we're going to bring you an update next week. And if you have an update, we're interested in that as well. So always feel free to leave that in our comment section. And again, if you have a comment or question about this episode, you can leave that anytime and we'll always get back to you guys. Otherwise, we're looking forward to seeing everyone on next week's edition of The Night Fight.
Night, everybody.